Hey, how are you? In this video, I'm going to tell you a quick story about my insurance licensing experience, how that went, and what I would have done differently. And hopefully, if watching this video, maybe that changes the way you do things and allows you to pass. That's my number one goal, is just to try to help more agents succeed in every way possible, including passing the license exam, which is like your first step. So let's dive into it. So, first things first, I'll just tell you my whole licensing experience when I first started. So I worked for a farmer's insurance agent for when I was first, out of high school. I was 18 years old and I was in college. So the first 2 years working at this farmer's agency, mainly during the summers and like my time off when I was not in school, I was pushed to kind of take my license exam. I kind of understood the way the servicing, the billing, the sales, and all those things worked. I was doing some of that stuff on my own, even not licensed early on. Anyways, but they were really pushing me, like, get your license so you can legally start transacting insurance and start selling policies, make commissions and whatnot. And I was pretty naive. Like, I didn't know too much about how the policies work, the coverages, and all that stuff, and didn't really honestly even have the right training. Like, they kind of just gave me a binder with a bunch of info, and I went and I completely bombed my first test. I think I was like 19 or 20 years old when I took that. So I bombed it. I felt like there was absolutely no chance I was going to pass that anytime soon. So I think I took a 1 year sabbatical of taking the exam. I almost like took a little break because I was like, I'm never going to pass this. Went back to school, did my thing, came back the next summer, and I was like, okay, now I'm determined. So this is about 3 years in working to farmers. I was a non-licensed rep, a customer service rep. Third year into farmers, I decided, okay, I need to get my license because it's going to make my career, like, this is what I want to do. I started to realize, like, this is what I want to do. So boom, second time taking the exam, I go and I study my ass off. Like, I was in college. It was spring break, chose to, not go on any trips with all my friends. I just stayed in my house for a week straight, headphones on, studying, and went and took the exam. And so this is the main part of the story I want to tell you. When I walked into that test, I felt pretty ready. I started the test. I answered all the questions I possibly knew, and I flagged all the ones I wasn't sure about that I thought maybe were wrong. And at the end of the test, I got super lazy, and I decided, after my brain was fried for sitting there, trust me, I know it's a long test. It feels like forever. It's like almost 2.5 hours or whatever. I sat there at the end and I was like, oh my gosh, like there's like 84 flagged answers, and I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna submit it, and I think I did a good job. Like, I answered these really, really well, and let's just submit it and see what happens. And hopefully, like, I was pretty sure I was gonna pass. So I submitted it. Boom, I go over to like the girl who's like the one that passes you and tells you whether you pass. And she looked at me and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she gave me my results, and I failed by one question. And I now know for a fact that I failed that test because of pure laziness and lack of discipline. If I had just stuck to the plan, which was flag the answers I didn't know, go back, review those, because sometimes you find the answers to those exact same questions later in the test. If I had just stuck to my plan originally, I would have been licensed sooner. I remember, I'll never forget this. After that exam, I called my dad. At this point, I'm like a junior in college. I'm trying to get my business degree, and my dad told me, he's like, Chris, you need to just get back to school, start focusing, do your thing, like focus on your degree, take the insurance license exam later, another time. And I was like, Dad, what are you talking about, man? Like, I failed by one question. I was like, I'm taking that as soon as I possibly can. So that was the one time I didn't listen to my dad's advice, and I think I was right. I took it 1 week later. I scheduled the soonest possible exam I could take. I think you have to wait a week or something. Scheduled it 1 week later, went in there, and I passed with like an 84%. Like, I crushed the second time because I was just determined to pass that test. So I stayed another week, even when school was kind of resumed after spring break. I was like, I don't even care about my classes. I need to get my license. And so then boom, third try technically, even though the first one I was like completely in the dark. I had no idea what I was doing. Failed. Second one, almost passed. Almost lost my mind on that one. And then the third one passed with a pretty good score. And then I went back to, working at Farmers for another year and tried to negotiate a little bit of a raise and a better situation for myself as a now licensed agent, which I always recommend. If you are now licensed, I highly recommend that you go and you try to negotiate yourself a better, some better compensation and good commission for yourself. It didn't work out the way I wanted to, so that's kind of when my wheels started turning, like, okay, I think I'm going to go and start my own agency. And that's when I decided about a year later to finally launch my own independent brokerage. And now 5 years later after that, we are now 5 years in, Adelphia Insurance exists, and we've been growing, and it's pretty good. So that's all I got. I hope that brought some value, that story. If you're kind of like stuck in a rut, you failed, you're not sure what you want to do, trust me, it's an amazing industry. It's something that everybody needs. It's very stable, and it's made the most millionaires in any industry that exists. So that's a good thing. And also, you truly just get to help people, which is the kind of bottom line of like anything you do. You should really try to bring value to people in any way you can. And that's what I'm trying to do here with these videos too, is just other agents out there who are struggling or just getting started. I really hope these videos do help you. That's my number one goal. You can also check out Chris the Insurance Guy or chriscostantini.com. That is where you can schedule something to talk to me directly if you wanted to do like a consultation of some sort. You can also DM me at Chris the Insurance Guy on Instagram. Also can see like behind the scenes of what I do when I'm not just in like a suit and like doing insurance stuff all day. So that's all I got. I hope that brings some value to you. Please like, please subscribe, ring the bell if you want to see more of my stuff for insurance. And really appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys at the top. Good luck on the test. Peace.